If you're joining the United States Army or looking to know more about basic training, or you just became a recruiter, well, you've come to the best channel here on YouTube, but you be the judge. Maybe you're struggling, confused, and simply just looking for the most up-to-date and, more importantly, accurate information. Now, I'm pretty detailed, so please bear with me. Real quick, if you don't know who I am, my name is Louis Swartz, a full-time recruiter here with the New York Army National Guard by day, conveniently located here in New York City, but on my free time, I come on here to help thousands of people just like you every single day make better decisions throughout their joining process, get better prepared both mentally and physically for Army basic training, recruiting, and so much more. Now, I have over 24 years of service with over 20 years of recruiting experience, and I am drill sergeant qualified. Now, real quick disclaimer, this channel is a personal channel and doesn't reflect the official views, opinions, nor is it supported, endorsed, or sponsored by the Department of Defense, the United States Army, the Army National Guard, or any other government entity for that matter. My videos represent me, myself, and I, based on my own experiences, observations, my personal opinions, and thoughts. With that being said, this is the biggest advantage that you have here on this channel is that I have access to all the updates, current guidance, and I have all the right people at the right places to address your most desired questions and concerns. Now, I have a ton of experience and knowledge to share with you, but I don't know everything, and I promise you that I have enough humility to let you know when I don't know something, and I will be more than happy to get to you the correct response. All you have to do is DM me on Instagram at Team Swartz or email me at teamswartzmedia@gmail.com. Now, my mission is to help you join for your reasons and your reasons alone based on accurate and up-to-date information. Now, honestly, I don't care which component of the Army that you join or which U.S. military branch that you join, just as long as that you join if you think it's a great option for you, of course. Now, I want you to make the best decision for you because you only have one life to live, and I want you to live your best life. This is not a decision to take lightly, so please do your homework, do your research, and make a well-informed decision. So the million-dollar question is, why are you here? Now, I honestly believe that you're not here by mistake. So if this is you, please hit subscribe, click the bell icon, turn on all the notifications so that you don't miss anything. That way, you will be notified when I go live, post new videos, and post updates. However, if you're new here, welcome, and comment down below which state you are tuning in from. And if you're one of my loyal Team Swartz squad members, you know the deal. Drop that hashtag Team Swartz down below. Now, get your comments and questions and concerns in the chat box as soon as possible because I respond to your comments in order as I receive them, working from the oldest to the most recent comments. Now, I don't skip anyone on purpose, and if I do, just type "I think my comment was skipped" respectfully, and I'll scroll back up and look for it. And after all, I am human, but do keep in mind that I do have some keywords and phrases blocked for various reasons that may cause your comment not to be hidden and not be visible by me. If I'm not moving fast enough through the comments, feel free to super chat me any amount for me to immediately and directly respond to your commented question or concern. When I do receive a super chat, super thanks, super sticker, or any other paid channel member on my page, after I finish my latest comment, I will scroll down to your latest paid super chat or whatever and immediately address your paid comment. Now, understand, I do this as a hobby and I don't do this as my job. So please be respectful to me and others within the stream, or you will be blocked. Thanks for watching, and here we go. Let's go.
Here we go! What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to Team Swartz. This is the Recruiting Ain't Easy podcast. Again, my name is Louis, your full-time recruiter for the New York Army National Guard. But on my free time, I come on here shooting a whole bunch of knowledge for you, helping you make better decisions throughout your joining process and to get better prepared for Army basic training. And thank you so much for tuning in. As previously described, I will be working from the oldest comments, working my way up to the most recent comments. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to stream tonight, so I didn't give you guys much of a warning. But with that being said, we got Xavier Butler with the hashtag Team Swartz, and he says he is back. So welcome back, buddy. So are you back from AIT? What are you back from? And how was your experience in basic training? Was it what you expected, or was it entirely different? Let me know. And while I'm waiting for everyone else to tune in their questions real quick, update to the 09 Mike program, specifically and uniquely to the Army National Guard. A couple of days ago, we got an email telling us that we had 90 training seats available for the remaining of our fiscal year for the 09 Mike program. That's nationwide. As of this afternoon, we're told there are 30 training seats available, so they are going rapidly. If you are pre-qualified and you're sitting on the fence and you're thinking about going 09 Mike or not, do not sit, do not hesitate. Get onto the 09 Mike program because it is about to be closed until the new fiscal year, if it even comes back. So I'll be doing a future video on my opinion about the 09 Mike program and whether or not it's coming back next fiscal year or the future of that program. So if you're sitting on the fence, I'm just letting you know, nationwide for the Army National Guard specifically, we only have 30 slots available. First come, first serve. Don't be sitting on the fence any longer. Xavier just says, I'm out of the Army now. Was the best 2 years, 8 months on active duty. I might be going back, but in reserve, just waiting on my recruiter to get back to me. Gotcha. Man, if you had reached out to me sooner, I would have told you to coordinate that directly from the retention office on base. The RRC, I believe, is what they call themselves. And it's the retention. Basically, they're in charge of retention. It would have been so much easier for you to go directly from the active duty component into the reserve or the National Guard straight from active duty and not have to go through a recruiter. So that's what my advice would have been for you. But you're here now. So just letting you know, I can't remember if they increased it back up to 12 months. But previously, the last time I looked into it, if you had a valid PHA within the last 12 months, as long as you contracted within 6 months of your current ETS date, then you could avoid MEPS medical. If not, beyond those 6 months, if you go to contract, you're going to be subjected to a full MEPS medical. So good luck to you. May the MEPS gods forever be in your favor. Appreciate you and welcome back. We got Will France E. Pierre says, I'm 35 years old. Can I still join the National Guard? Yes, you can with an age waiver. The age waiver is super duper easy. All right. Don't sweat it. You'll be in there like swimwear before you know it. We got Thomas Lupus. What's up, man? Hope all is well. Hope the academy or the thing that you're going through is going well. Hopefully you're doing great. Sweet gear, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you. It's actually a mess right now, but yeah, I don't know. I've been trying out different things. Not sure if I quite like it. Kind of like it, but I don't know. But I appreciate it. Thank you. We got iEdits that says, I might soon hit you up to get me in. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. If you do want to hit me up, this is my link to my Instagram. Shoot me a direct message and let's talk about it. You don't have to join, but if you want to talk about it and check us out, see if it's something that you can see yourself doing, we'll take the next step. If not, at least you got the info. We got Xavier says, I got out last month, so hopefully. Good luck to you, man. Hashtag I'm just saying. Matthew, what's up, man? It's discouraging that there is no more shark attack. Kind of makes me feel like I won't be earning the title as a soldier like previous Army veterans. Army vets say it's not as hard like back in my day. All right, Matthew, this is what I got to say about the back in my day kind of statements from prior service individuals. All right. Every generation says that to the new generation, that back in my day, it wasn't as easy and blah, blah, blah. All right. You yourself are going to be saying the same exact thing 20 years from now when somebody else is looking to join. So take that with a grain of salt. Don't worry about it. Honestly speaking, the first 100 yards or the variant, if it's not an infantry school, is more physically demanding than it would be for the shark attack. The only thing that made the shark attack awesome and epic and quite the experience was, at least in my day, because cell phones weren't really a thing back then, at least they were definitely dumb phones for sure, because they were definitely not smart. So like Google was probably 2, maybe 3 years old at best. So we had no idea what the shark attack was. And of course, nobody told me before I left. So the epicness of the shark attack back in my day is we had no idea it was coming. So they got on the bus and you just start hooting and hollering and screaming at us to get off the bus and smoking us left and right for 15 to 45 minutes. So honestly, it's just a smoke session with them yelling at you. That's it. It really isn't that big of a deal. yeah, it would be cool to go through because of tradition, but it's not going to make or break you as far as earning the title of a U.S. soldier. You earn the title of a soldier. That's it. Not the shark attack. We got iEdit says, I think you skipped my message, but I am the guy who dropped the weight from 286 to 240. Hell yeah. It's 229 pounds now, slowly getting there. So watch out for the message. Hell yeah. I'll be on the lookout. Just remind me, like in the comment or text message whenever you send it to me. Just put iEdits from YouTube and then reference the weight loss, and I'll remember it's you. But I appreciate that. And iEdits, I did say something. The only thing I see here, the only other message iEdits I see from you is right here, where it says you might hit me up, and nothing after that until you just said that you skipped your question or comment. Oh, look at that. We got Kim back in the house with the hashtag Team Swartz. Appreciate you. Longtime follower, Giuseppe De Rosa, with the same thing. Appreciate you. Just remember, it comes with a Z, not an S at the end. But I'm not complaining. Appreciate you, bub. Hope all is well. Will France Pierre says, what's the difference between the National Guard and the Army Reserve? I'll give you a quick overview, but I have a video for you coming in hot and heavy into the chat box. But real quick, the Army Reserve and the Army National Guard are extremely similar in the sense that we're part-time, working 1 weekend per month and 2 weeks out of the year, and we serve the federal government under the direction of the president for any overseas missions. The difference between the Guard versus the Reserve is, in addition to the federal missions overseas, the Guard has more responsibility to our individual states. So anything that happens within the borders of our state, right? Whether it's a natural disaster, state emergency, civil unrest, COVID, asylum seekers, and various things like that, Homeland Security, all the above, anything that happens within your state, your governor has the ability to activate the National Guard on a temporary basis to handle business, whether it's filling up sandbags, conducting search and rescue missions, delivering food, water supplies, personnel, or equipment, or anything that the governor deems necessary. Like right now, we have a mission going on with the New York State federal prisons, or state prisons. And we're manning that as if we're corrections officers. So pretty unique circumstances, kind of crazy. Can't really talk more about it, but yeah. So those are the major differences between the Guard and Reserves, that we're state and federal. Unfortunately, we have a lot of ignorant recruiters out there that, if they're not part of or have never served in the Army National Guard or don't know the answers to this, will misrepresent or misquote the National Guard or blatantly lie to you, which is they're going to say that the Guard is state funded and is limited to funding. And the truth is the Guard receives both federal and state funding, meaning that the federal funding is what pays you for your drill weekends, your annual training for 2 to 3 weeks in the summertime, your Army schools, leadership schools, specialty schools, all the above, all your federal requirements. And then the state funds handle state business, whether it's being activated for a state emergency, natural disaster, or what have you. Those are typically state funds unless it's at a broader scale that gets approved by the federal government for additional federal funding, and that would fall under Title 10 or 32 orders. Otherwise, it would be state orders, but that's like nuanced stuff. But I got a whole video on that. I think it's called this one right here, National Guard Myths. Here we go. So I break it down for USARC recruiters so that they can learn better there. So that I debunk National Guard myths in that video. So if you want to go check that out as well. And the major difference between the Guard and Reserve when it comes to benefits, because the Guard is state and federal, whether you're active duty in any branch of service or reserve in any branch of service to include the National Guard, we all max out at $4,500 through the federal tuition assistance per year. The benefit of being Guard is that we have state benefits, and those are going to be state specific and will vary from state to state. So you could get additional state tuition that could pay up to 100% of your tuition fees, where on the federal side, you max out at $4,500. That wouldn't even cover one semester in a community college here in New York City. So I did a dedicated video to that here. You can check that out if you want. Otherwise, good luck on your decision-making process. Either one is great. Just understand the subtle differences that could impact your decision one way or another. The only time I would ever say that the National Guard is better than a reserve or any reserve branch of the military is if your sole reason for joining is to maximize the money amount that you get or receive to pay for college. The Guard, hands down, is your best option. Other than that, to each its own. Do your homework, do your research, and make an informed decision which one you feel is better for you for your reasons and your reasons alone. So good luck to you. JC Miller says you and Sam Kearns could collab. Sam Kearns, why does that sound so familiar? YouTuber Sam, what? Kearns. Oh, that's why it sounds familiar. That's that National Guard infantry soldier down south. The TikToker. Yeah. That would be pretty dope, actually. He's got a YouTube channel too. Or maybe I'm confusing it with somebody else. I think it's somebody else. I don't know which YouTube channel that is, but yeah. Are you talking about the TikToker, Sam Kearns? The guy with the glasses, the white kid? Giuseppe says, as someone who's a reservist, if I switch over to National Guard after my contract ends, would I be able to do Ranger contract or SF? If it's in your state, yes. Special Forces, yes. In fact, Giuseppe, you can message me directly because you know how to. But check out this video here. It's my podcast with the Colorado Army National Guard Special Forces, and I'll be doing something in June with them as well. So look forward to that. But yes, reach out to Sergeant Klaus. His point of contact is pinned in a comment and in the description area. But give him a call, tell him I sent you, and take it from there. He could tell you anything you want to know about Special Forces. Might require you to go to infantry school first, but I think that's the newest thing. But yeah, talk to him, okay? We got Team Wilbob from the state of Washington, right, bud? You're from the state of Washington, right? If I remember correctly. No worries, Giuseppe. I appreciate you, though. And Nakin Skywalker with the hashtag Team Swartz. Appreciate you, buddy. Always, yes, Washington. All right, good stuff. So for those of you who see that Team Wilbob in the chat, he is a Army National Guard recruiter out of the state of Washington. So if you're in the area and you're interested in checking out the National Guard, he really is truly a genuine dude. All right, give him a call, and yeah, put your contact info, Team Wilbob. Anyone from Washington who want to check you out. Robert Duran says hashtag Team Swartz. Been watching you for a while now. Made it to the AGR program now and thinking about doing recruiting. Salute, brother. Hey, Robert. If you do get accepted, well, when you get accepted, let me know. I'll send you some study guides and some tips to prepare for the possible board that your state may or may not be doing to become a recruiter. But hit me up and I'll give you some pointers. And when you do get hired, I'll definitely shoot some knowledge your way so that you could hit the ground running with some tangible stuff that worked well for me and speedline the process of you becoming a more effective and efficient recruiter. So good luck to you. I look forward to hearing from you. Christopher Liao says, just finished basic training, halfway done with being a 56 Mike. Those who don't know what a 56 Mike is, that's a chaplain assistant or religious affairs, whatever the name of the month it's called. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Keep up the grind, man. Keep up the good work. We got Michael here, says my brother just left for Fort Jackson as a 68 Whiskey, which is a combat medic. I'm going in at the end of the year for 21 Echo. 21 Echo, what's that? MOS 21 Echo. Oh, okay. So I don't think it's called a 21 Echo anymore. It's probably a 12 November. Because when I look up 21 Echo, because I used to be a 21 Foxtrot, which is a crane operator, and the engineering slots used to be under the 21 series. So 21 Echo doesn't exist anymore. So a heavy construction equipment operator, that sounds like a 12 November. Let me double check. Just so you track and so you could say the right thing when you go in front of your recruiter. Oh, now they call it the horizontal construction engineer. Yeah, but it's pretty much the same one. So horizontal construction engineer, you operate heavy construction equipment like bulldozers, tractors, backhoes, cranes, excavators, and road graders, just to mention a few. Any suggestions what to do? Prepare that running every other day for 1.5 miles, 225 pounds. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Get it. So yes, my basic training prep video here that's coming into the chat box, also linked down below in the description area, just like all the videos that I post in the chat box. You will always find them in the description area. But in that video, I verbally discuss and talk about a running routine that you should follow, where one day you're testing your ability to run 2 miles in your shortest time possible, you versus you. And then another day where you're going to run 3 to 4 miles as a fun run. And then you're going to run on another day for 1/2 mile to a mile as a warm up. Do 1 to 2 wind sprints at like 70-75% max effort, like 50 to 75% max effort to warm up the hamstrings. And then you're going to do 10 sprints. It's in the Army, we call it 30-60s. So you're going to sprint up a slight hill for 30 seconds, walk down for 60, and repeat that 10 times. That right there is what's going to decrease your run time. But I also have, for a beginner and intermediate, more of a beginner running plan in the description from Era of Tech. He gave me something to share with you guys, but definitely check out that video. And there's a downloadable workout guide for those of you that are intermediate or advanced. And I suggest in the video to replace the weightlifting with body weight exercises in that program. And then that way you're running 3 days a week and you're doing body weight exercises 2 to 3 days out of the week, with the primary focus being running. You're very welcome, Will France. Appreciate you. We got Groovy here. I'm planning on talking to an Army recruiter for 18 X-ray contract, which is Special Forces. Run times and PT are on point. However, I recognize that I'll need waivers due to knee injuries from football. Chances I can get permanently disqualified. Yes, but as long as you can get an approved medical waiver, should not stop you or prevent you from going 18 X-ray. And for medical waivers, I highly recommend that you watch my waiver guide here with best tips and practices when going through the waiver process. So good luck to you. It's also linked down below as well. We got Flipmeister with the can you be an officer or join Special Forces if you are 35 years old? No. Maybe in the National Guard, but well, I don't even know if is there an age cutoff for Special Forces? I don't know. Let me double check. But in the meantime, you could check out this video and you could reach out to Sergeant First Class Klaus. His point of contact is going to be linked in the pinned comment underneath that video. But 18 X-ray age cut off? Question mark? Didn't even. Let me see if there's an age cutoff. While that's searching. Oh, it looks like it's only open to from 20 to 34. It looks like you missed oh, hang on. Okay. So it looks like they can do a waiver over 36 years old. So, yeah. But officer, I don't know. Cutting it really close because you got to get through OCS, and that may take a while. But talk to Sergeant First Class Klaus, and he'll be able to tell you the nitty-gritty details to Special Forces in the Army National Guard. All right. Giuseppe says, I think that's like the only way I would resign. So are you saying that if you're in the Guard and they tell you that you have to go through 11 Bravo school first, that you would resign and quit the Army? Is that what you're saying? I'm confused. Let me know. Christian T, what is the minimum contract, active or reserved, for commission as an officer through OCS as a current enlisted? So if you're in regular Army, active duty full-time, or Army Reserve, the age cutoff to commission is around 32 years old. And then if you're in the guard, you can commission up to 41, 42. My video talks about it specifically. It's been a while since I looked it up, but the video I just posted in the description has the eligibility requirements for each option. But good luck to you. Giuseppe, do you know how long I would have to resign if I did that? Not sure what you mean. Resign like your resignation letter, or re-sign like you're signing a new contract? Oh, re-sign. Okay. Hang on. I would say I would begin the process no later than 90 days before your current ETS date with the National Guard Special Forces recruiter like Sergeant First Class. But reach out to him. He'll give you the details to what would make sense for your path. All right. We got Patel Yash says, my asthma waiver finally got approved. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Can you hear this? Can you hear that horn? Yes or no? Let me know. I don't know if the sound effects is working on this thing. But hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Waiver got approved. Shipping out next month. I've been watching your videos for so long, and it helped me so much. Thank you so much for all of your videos and streams. Hell yeah, you can hear the sound effects. Yay! All right, so with that being said, congratulations, man. Good luck in basic training. So these videos, you definitely have to watch these 3 videos, okay? It's how to prepare for basic training, because I guarantee you there's going to be something in that video that you weren't thinking, and you're welcome. And then what to pack, obviously, for basic training, because you don't want to overpack. Remember, less is more is less. And what to expect at reception minus the COVID references. So skip or ignore the COVID references for that reception video, but that's everything you need to know to get through reception to basic training. All right. There's other videos in the basic training series, but at least watch the reception so you know what to expect. All right. We got the Elite Goth Gas, says DD Form 368, which is your conditional release form, took a whopping 38 days. That's actually pretty good. That's below average from the day I walked into my recruiting office to the commander releasing me. How big is culture shock in the big army? Listen, as long as you go in with an open mind, your glass half full, and you remain positive, it'll be a smooth transition. So just act like a soldier, be a soldier, and if you're an NCO, act and be an NCO. Live the Army values, all right? You'll be fine, trust me. It's just on a full-time basis, all right? But you'll be fine. Good stuff. What is a DD Form 368? So a DD Form 368 is for those who are in the Guard and Reserve who aspire to be full-time in the military. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the Army, but you submit that form. It's called a conditional release. So a conditional release, if you really want to know more in detail, I did a video called Guard to Active Duty. It'll go through all the details, but basically it's your free ticket to possibly leave your part-time branch of the military to go full-time in the active components of any branch of service, really. So if that's approved, then that's your free ticket to leave. However, and this goes for you, Elite Goth Gas. Now that you got your conditional release approved, just remember your drilling requirements or battle assemblies, your weekend requirements are still a requirement to complete until your new active duty contracts begin. All right. Don't get complacent. Christopher says they don't use chaplain assistants no more. The term, it is religious affairs specialist from now on. Okay, perfect. That's what I thought it was, but I wasn't too sure. Thank you for the clarification on that. Groovy says thank you very much. You're very welcome. Appreciate you. We got Robert here. Hell yeah. We got a new subscriber, y'all. Hell yeah. Welcome to the tube. All right. Your content has helped me out a lot and guide me on what I'm really looking for. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what this channel is all about. So even though I am a recruiter by day, one of the things that I swore that I would do here on the channel and anytime that I created content, because I've been creating content on Instagram and YouTube since 2012. Yeah, 2012. Yeah, 2012. And I always said that even though I'm a recruiter for the Army National Guard, that I would only give information to people so that they can make a well-informed decision. That I would limit or omit any persuasive or what's the word I'm looking for? Like legitimate influence on people. I don't want you joining because I'm hyping it up or persuading you basically to join the military. My intent has always been and will be to provide you information so that you can decide for yourself. Now, as a byproduct of that, does that motivate some people? Yeah, because some people are afraid to pull the trigger because of fear of the unknown, and me providing videos helping them understand the process and everything else could alleviate some of that hindrance or I can't even think of the word I want because I'm so tired, but I think you know where I'm going with that. So that gives you that push to decide if that makes sense. But you're welcome. Michael says, thank you. Just found your channel about 15 minutes before you start. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You're very welcome. Welcome to the Team Swartz. Hopefully you subscribe like the other guy. We got Al Chovy says, while in boot camp, how often do we use phones? So you got to understand that cell phones at Army basic training are a privilege, not a right. However, since COVID, they have made it a point to, unless you guys royally F up and ruin it, you should be getting 5 to 45 minutes almost every Sunday on your phone. All right. So as long as you guys are on your best behavior, you do everything that you're supposed to, and you don't do any dumb stuff, or at least excessive dumb stuff, then you should keep your phone privileges every Sunday. iEdit says, apologize in advance. I don't mean to expose your info, but I do not have Instagram. Do you have a number where I can reach you? Yes, I do. I just don't like to be spammed by bots and ill-intended people, if that makes sense. But this is my phone number. And that is my email too. So, with that being said, yeah, there you go. Oh, I didn't know about Wednesdays. That's new. Oh, I think they added Wednesdays. I heard about that. Oh, you just confirmed they did. So we got Tricky Exodus says, as someone who dropped out of high school to join the Navy, I'm wondering, do you have any tips on passing the AFQT? I will need to get a 50. How hard is that to get? As someone who struggles with math. Now, Tricky Exodus, if you're still here, let me know in the chat box. But I'm going to post a video here. Oops. It's about join without a high school diploma or GED with Sophia. Sophia is a website that is ACE accredited by the American Council of Education that offers online classes that if you accumulate 15 credits through Sophia, you contact the college that I mentioned in that video. There's a $25 sign-up fee to that college, and then $5.25 per official college transcript that they will email through Parchment to your recruiter, and they'll use, at least for the Army, double check to see if the Navy will do something similar, who will take 15 official college credits in lieu of a high school diploma or GED. You should still work towards a GED when you get done with training, but this is a workaround to be able to join at least the Army, maybe the Navy. But that is a way to get college credits without actually taking real college classes. But the video will discuss everything, and I highly suggest that you do that. Now, if a 50 is a requirement for the Air Force or for the Navy, I'm letting you know that with those 15 college credits, you can join the Army with a 31 or better. And if the 09 Mike program is still available, then you could use that program as well with those 15 college credits, because a GED is considered a tier 2 education evaluation or credential. The college credits would make it a tier 1, which is equivalent to a high school diploma. All right. So if you did have a GED and 15 college credits, then that would still help you, because it would turn it from a tier 2 eval to a tier 1 and open up other possible opportunities depending on your unique circumstances. So you might not be able to get into the Navy depending on what you score in the ASVAB and whether or not they accept the 15 college credits. But if you wanted to use the Army as a stepping stone to get into the military and then work on a conditional release to go active duty as a prior service member, that's a workaround to get to where you ultimately want to go if Navy is where you want to go and be a squid. So use the Guard or the Army as a stepping stone. You know what I'm saying? But don't go active, because then you can't switch from active out. So, but if you go part-time in the Guard or Reserve in the Army, then you can get a conditional release. And now as a prior service member, you can go active duty and not have to worry about your education requirements, if that makes sense. Outstanding. Thank you so much for that, Patel. Appreciate that. Oops, Caps Lock says, is celiac disease waiverable? It's on the medical standards as a disqualifier, but I'm trying the National Guard, so I don't know if the waivers are different. The waivers should be the same for the regular Army. And yes, it will disqualify you from joining. Whether or not it's waiverable, I'm not really sure, but if you give me a second to look it up, if just to double check, I know what I'm talking about here. Celiac disease, what does that do? Celiac disease is a chronic autoimmune disorder which in the ingestion of gluten, a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye, triggers an immune response that damages a small. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's going to be a disqualifying condition that is more than likely not going to get approved. And I don't have my Doty in front of me to look at it, but I know it's definitely a disqualifying condition, and I do believe that it's not waiverable. Yeah. If you give me until, like, if you reach out to me on Instagram on Friday, I'll look at the Doty. Tomorrow I have a team meeting in the morning and then interviews in the afternoon, and I won't have time to look it up, but I'll have time to look it up on Friday if you want. My Instagram here is the same name as the channel, Team Swartz, but here's the link just in case, and we'll take it from there. El Chovy says, while in boot camp, can I put a pause on it to join BP boot camp, or a way to have BP to wait? El Chovy, can you describe to me what BP boot camp is? So are you saying while in Army basic training, can you put a pause on your Army basic training to join some other boot camp? I'm confused. Body percent. Okay, so while in boot camp, can I put a pause on it to join the body percentage boot camp? Oh, so you're talking about if you've already joined. I'm confused. So you're making it sound like you're in basic training already and you want to put a pause on normal basic training so that you can go backwards to the 09 Mike program for the body fat composition portion of that program where you lose body fat. Or does my body percentage have to wait? Oh, Border Patrol. Oh, somebody else put body percentage. Sorry, my mic was blocking the name a little bit. Border Patrol. Okay. So while in Army basic training, can I put a pause on the Army base? All right. So obviously you did not ship out to Army basic training yet. Is that correct? And did you join the Army National Guard, Army Reserve, or regular Army? IJ, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. El Chovy, let me know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0.5. National Guard and haven't shipped out. When does all right, so are you basically already approved for Border Patrol and waiting to get to hang on. How far out is your basic training ship date, and have you 100% completed your Border Patrol process and approved and they're trying to schedule you for the academy, or are you just now starting the process for Border Patrol? Let me know. And I think I just lost my spot here. So we got Ryan Dillon here. So still on the grind. You are awesome. You answered a bunch of questions for me and gave me a bunch of useful information back in 2022 when I was in the process of enlisting. Hell yeah. Appreciate that. Thanks, buddy. Thank you very much. Nick, hello. I enlisted as a 19 uniform armor recruit. I ship out to Fort Benning in Georgia. Co-worker of mine was a 19 Delta Cav Scout. He told me when I arrived to Fort Stewart for AIT, they split people into 3 groups and declare who becomes a 19 Kilo, Charlie, or Delta. So real quick, Nick, did you join the Army National Guard or active duty regular Army? Let me know. El Chovy says National Guard and haven't shipped out yet. All right. So El Chovy, I asked you how far out is your ship date, and did you just start the Border Patrol process, or did you get approved and you're just waiting for the academy to start? And Nick, you said you're full-time active duty. All right. So yeah, the difference between active duty and guard is when you're joining guard, you're joining specifically, like for example, 11 Bravo or 11 series is the same thing. So when you go active duty, it's an 11X, right? So that means that once you're in training, active duty decides whether you're going to be a Bravo or a Charlie. Now, I didn't know that there was other 19 series MOSs. I thought it was just 19 Delta. But 19 Kilo, Charlie, and Delta. Hang on, let me double check, because they may be 3 different MOSs. Where 11 Bravo and Charlie are same MOS, but one has more responsibility. 19 Delta MOS. Cav Scout, responsible for gathering information about the enemy terrain, weather, acting, blah, blah, blah. So 19, Charlie was another one. Military occupation special, Bradley crew member. That's a tanker, right? So that's totally different. And then 19 what? 19 Kilo. Armor crewman. All right, so 19 Delta is 19 Delta. If you did a 19X and they can choose between a Kilo or a Charlie, then I could see them deciding that. But I would probably assume that if you're signing a contract for, all right, this is what so I'm not an active duty recruiter, and we definitely don't have tankers in the National Guard, or at least in my state. So if it's listed on your contract as a 19X, then it could be broken up into groups when you get there. If you're specifically signing for a 19 kilo or a Charlie or a Delta specifically, then that's the MOS that you're going to be awarded and going through school for. But again, if it's an 19X, then it's going to be one of them, I guess. But I'm part of an elite recruiting group, so let me ask my active duty counterparts and get it from the horse's mouth. What's up, Battle Buddies? For my USAREC recruiters, I need your assistance. I got a quick question for you from my experts out there. For 19 kilo, 19 Charlie, and 19 Delta, when they get to the AIT portion of the training, do they get broken into groups? So let's say they sign up for 19 Delta. When they get to AIT, are they going to break them into different groups and choose them automatically against their will to be a kilo, a Charlie, or a Delta? Or if they're signing an active duty contract for one or the other, that's the MOS that they're going to be doing AIT for. Let me know, please. Thank you. Because they're saying it's a 19U1000YY option 19, whatever that means, because I'm not USAREC. So please help me out. Thank you. I'm live streaming right now, so speed is of the essence, please. Por favor. Gracias. All right, so I'm waiting for them to respond back. With that being said, moving right along. I'll let you know, Nick, as soon as they respond. Meili Vong says, dude, for Fort Benning, it's like living in Spain, I heard, but without the S, whatever that means. I don't know if you're saying hello or halo, but hello. Blake says, my recruiter told me last week that he would know about my 369 status. I think he meant 368. If it's approved, he still hasn't let me know. Is that a bad sign? No, 368s can take a little bit of time. Will France E. Pierre says, I want to be an aircraft operator. What's the score ASVAB I need? Operator, like a mechanic or like a pilot? Let me know. Enigma says, is RRC or Regimental Recon Company tier 1 or to Delta Force? I wouldn't know, but I do know somebody who's in there's a different name for it, but he's in Delta Force. And I believe they're located in North Carolina. Pilot. What was your question again? So you need a GT line score of 110 or better, U.S. citizen, qualify for a secret clearance, and pass a flight medical. Just to mention a few things. And in the Army, it's helicopters. Anakin Skywalker, how often do National Guard do they get sent overseas? It really depends on your MOS and or your unit that you're assigned to. In some cases, just the state that you're in, because some states are more active than other states. For the most part, there is I don't know how official it is, but there's a rule that if you are deployed overseas, that you have a stabilization period of 3 years after your previous deployment before you could be on the chopping block for a new deployment. But understand that when it comes to deployments in the National Guard, just like everything else in the military, everything is planned out 3 to 5 years in advance. You will never get a call to say, come report to the office or the armory right now and get ready for this deployment. It never works like that. So for example, I mean, if you're just joining now, your recruiter may or may not be aware of certain units that are deploying, but your unit will know. So for example, my brother was told for about 4 years that his unit is looking to get deployed in the near future. Once they receive the official warning order, or a warno for short, the entire unit had to undergo a series of additional training for a year part-time leading up to that deployment. And they have to meet certain metrics and qualifications to remain in good standing to be able to go and complete that mission. A warno is basically you receiving the official document from the president that your unit has been selected for this mission. It'll state the name of the mission, the requirements, and all the details pertaining to that mission. Now, when it comes to the National Guard and Reserve, when we get activated for a mission like that or selected for a deployment, everyone initially is on that roster. Now, let's say there's 150 people in your unit, but for this mission, they only need 90. Now, initially, everybody's going to be on that deployment roster, and everyone's going to go through a medical exam, a new police record check, sex offender check. People will get weeded out from that. So let's say you are a cook, 92 golf, culinary specialist, whatever the term is, right? And there are 15 people in your section, but only 10 of you need to go on this mission for 9 to 12 months. So once everyone gets screened and then removed from the list, let's say there's 14 left over. So 4 of you don't have to go on this deployment. First come, first serve. If they have enough volunteers and you in fact don't want to go, if 10 people volunteer for that deployment, then you don't have to go because 10 people filled up the slots. I've also seen it over the years where people were really, really looking forward to a deployment, and somebody who knew somebody wanted a favor bumped you off of the deployment roster and they took your slot for you, right? So I've seen that happen as well. And of course, as always, you can always volunteer for deployments as well. But again, once your unit receives the official warno, you will have 1 year to train part-time, extended drills, and additional annual training most likely to prepare for and to qualify for that deployment. So you'll have a whole year to mentally prepare that you are leaving and mentally prepare that it could get canceled last minute. So not to put my personal business out there, but my first ex-wife, she was supposed to go to Iraq. A week or 2 weeks before she was supposed to fly out to Iraq, they canceled that mission. Half of her unit was sent to the state of Washington and did a state guard mission there, or a gate guard mission rather, acting like military police. And the other half stayed here in Brooklyn in New York City on Fort Hamilton and did the same. And that was her deployment for a year. So you never know. So you plan for everything and anything, and you live your life as you normally would, as you prepare to more than likely leave for that deployment, if that makes sense. So good luck to you. Terry Para says, I also have to enroll in Sophia to get into the Army. My main concern is my weight. I'm 5'4", 240, and 28 years old. I will have a problem getting into basic, or is there a waiver that I can get into? All right, so we have 2 overweight body fat programs. One is the ARMS 2.0, which is the normal version, and then ARMS 2.1 version through the 09 Mike program. So the 09 Mike program with the ARMS 2.1 for the body fat composition will allow you to be no more than 6% body fat per your age and gender. So if you're allowed 24% body fat, you will be allowed to join up to 30% body fat as a male, depending on your age and gender, of course, but in this example, right? And then you have the ARMS 2.0, where you're allowed to be no more than 2% over your maximum allowable body fat per your age and gender. So I'll talk about the 09 Mike program here. And that's a new update because it was 8%, but they literally just dropped it down to 6%. So now the video is accurate, but you can now combine both programs if needed. Matthew, I'm going to come back to you. All right. Cause I just got a super chat coming in from Luis Rodriguez. What's up, buddy? Finished Sophia credits at 74, waiting on my transcripts from Excelsior University. Outstanding. Good stuff, man. That's what I'm talking about. Good freaking stuff. Congratulations, and thank you again for supporting the channel. I'm just scrolling back up to where I last left off. Oh, I think I skipped it. Here he is. All right, here we go. All right, so Matthew says, is it possible to get out of the Marine Reserve partway into contract to join the National Guard with Special Forces? How hard would that be if possible, or do Marines hold you until a 6-year contract is up? So I'm going to tell you what the possibility is, and then I'm going to tell you the reality of how the Marine Corps are and what would more than likely happen and screw you over in the long run. So in a perfect world, under normal circumstances, it would be this process, and do watch it just so you're aware, okay? The video is titled Guard to Active Duty, but it's the same exact process. It's a conditional release from, in your example, the Marine Reserve, so that you could go Army National Guard, who is part-time. Now, yes, it can be done. Yes, you can request it. And in a perfect world, a viable option. The problem with the Marine Corps, based on my 20 plus years experience as a recruiter to date, the Marine Corps are kind of like jealous. How do I describe the Marine Corps? They're like jealous, spiteful, devious ex-girlfriends. So let's say you're in the Marines, right? And you want to go Army National Guard. So they would, the reaction I'm going to share with you may not happen at all, but it would be expected, or I would not be surprised if this happens to you and what I'm about to share with you. The Marine Corps are all about the Marine Corps, like rah, 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 rah. All about the rah, all right? And I mean that in the nicest way possible. So if you're not about the rah, or the hoorah, then as a jealous, spiteful ex-girlfriend, they're going to discharge you and more than likely give you a re-enlistment code of an RE4 and God knows what else that they would give you as part of your discharge. So they're going to give you what you want, which is to get out early, but the coding that they're going to use in the narrative may not be exactly why you're leaving the Marine Corps, but they're going to choose a narrative reason for separation and an RE code that's at minimum, best case scenario, require a waiver, but they could make it to make it a possibility to where you can't sign a contract at all. Meaning, what I would expect, at minimum, they'll give you an RE3 in a letter. That's best case scenario that I would expect from them, because they're spiteful SOBs when they discharge you when you're not about the Marine Corps anymore. But they're going to give you an RE4. RE4, under normal circumstances, means that you cannot rejoin that branch of service ever again in the future, unless you have a new updated RE code that is at least waiverable. What you're looking for is an RE1. RE1 means that you can re-enlist with no waivers or any other issues. So, yes, you can request a conditional release in a perfect world. It's just that the Marine Corps, if you're not about the Marine Corps anymore, they will, for a better phrase, fuck you over on your discharge so that you can't join, or at the very least join with a waiver and make that process more of a headache. So my advice to you is stick it out, finish your Marine Corps contract, get out on good terms, and then go National Guard. If you were in any other branch, I'd be like, hell yeah, go for it. No harm, no foul. But the Marine Corps Discharge Department are some of the most unprofessional individuals I've ever met when coming to discharge somebody who wants to choose a different opportunity and do better or good things. And I've seen good applicants get screwed over that way. So hopefully that makes sense, and good luck to you. "19 Charlie is the new MOS." Not sure what that means, but all right. El Chovy says, I'm deep in the process for Border Patrol, but I have not been given an offer yet. It's more of a what if question in case I receive the offer during the National Guard boot camp. All right, so what I'm going to say is, in this example, is reach out. So up until like maybe a week before you leave for basic training, just leave it as is. But a week before you leave for Army basic training, you're going to inform your Border Patrol recruiter or agent or whatever their title is that's processing you for Border Patrol, and provide them your military active duty orders for basic training, and tell them that I do want to accept an offer. If I receive an offer, I'm leaving for Army basic training. I will be back around this time here. And if I do get an offer, please hold it for me and I will sign it as soon as possible. But with that being said, by doing so, you're protected under federal law, and they will hold you as a Border Patrol applicant or candidate until you complete your initial entry training. And once you finish your initial entry training and you come back home, then you can sign your offer. And then once you get scheduled for the Border Patrol Academy, you can request, if you're in the National Guard, into the ING, the Inactive National Guard. So basically it puts your contract in the Guard on pause for up to 6 months so that you can complete the academy. And basically you'll be tacking on those 6 months at the end of your current contract. So if your contract was 6 years, you complete the academy for 6 months and your contract will be extended for 6 months, serving a total of 6 years, 6 months. But only 6 years of that would be credible for retirement purposes, if that makes sense. But at the end of the day, you're still going to get the job as a Border Patrol agent. And again, you have the ability of going into the ING, Inactive National Guard, or the IRR for those 6 months. And they finally responded. So it says here, and this is for Nick, I believe the person's name was, asking about the 19 series, right? And hang on, where is it? Hang on. Oh, here it is. So it's 19 uniform now, which is correct. That means that once they get there, they will be identified as either a Kilo, a Delta, or a Charlie. How they choose is unknown to me right now. I figured it's similar to 18 X-ray, like I was explaining. So he just said the same thing, where they just randomly choose you. But I'll reach out to my battle at Benning now and see if he knows how that process works. And then another one said that their station commander said that it's the same as 11 X-ray, meaning that they'll choose whether or not you're going to be the Kilo, Delta, or Charlie at the training site. So that was going back to what I was saying. So if you had joined the National Guard, you would be joining for one specific MOS, but because you're active duty, they're going to choose for you, even though you may have signed a contract for it. But if you signed a 19 uniform with the intent of going 19 Delta, as an example, there's a possibility you might be a Kilo or a Charlie instead. All right, so huge shout out to all my USADSA buddies on the Facebook chat. Not sure if they're watching the stream right now, but thank you very much. So Nick, I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but unfortunately it is what it is. And then Fritzl says, and throughout the training where they excel and qualify based on the 19 MOS as a Charlie, Delta, or Kilo. So unofficial advice is, if you want to be a Delta, then don't do so great as a Charlie or Kilo portion of the training, and maybe they'll just give you Delta. But yeah, I know you want 19 Kilo, but do your best. I see it right here. Tricky Exodus says, just really trying to join with no high school diploma or GED credits with the new policy change. I can, but I need a 50 on the AFQT. Do you think 50 is hard to get? So 50 can be tricky, no pun intended, if you don't study. So if you put in the work, I don't know what you scored already. What did you get on your practice test or your PICAT? And I'll let you know. But I did do a video, and it may be worth it for you to check out Mometrics. Coming into the chat box. If you use coupon code SWARTZ20, you get 20% off. You probably wouldn't need any more than 30 days. So just 1 month of, I think it's $40 minus 20%. I don't do math in public, but 20% off of $40 a month is what it would cost you. And it's a full online course and all that good stuff. But I talk about it in the ASVAB video. Definitely worth checking out if you definitely want to get a 50 or better, but don't feel pressure in doing it. I also have a free ASVAB book if you want to study from that too. Link down below. L. Chovy says, I also haven't signed a contract yet because I need a waiver for my eyes. Gotcha. All right. Good luck on the eye waiver. Blake says he is waiting to hear back about what it may be classified as in case you need a waiver for it. He said that he would know quickly, but taking a while to hear back from him. Gotcha. Just got to be patient, my friend. Just got to be patient. Abraham, what's up, man? Can you please talk about the civilian acquired skills program? It's fluent. I'm fluent in Arabic. Can I enlist as a translator? No, that would be a different MOS, and I don't think they are offering that anymore. I can't remember specifically which MOS that was. Let me ask. Which MOS is a translator? And it's definitely going to be more of an active duty regular Army thing too. While that's researching, let me take a sip of coffee. 35 whiskey, foreign language specialist. Are you a U.S. citizen, Abraham? And that's definitely not on the ACAS list. I'll tell you what's on the... Actually, I think I have it here. So the list of MOSs that are part of the Civilian Acquired Skills Program is 12 Bravo as a combat engineer, 12 Charlie as a bridge crew member, 12 November as a horizontal construction engineer, 15 Tango as a UH-60 helicopter repairer, 25 Bravo information technology specialist. I'm on a roll today. 31 Bravo military police, 35 Foxtrot intelligence analyst, 42 Alpha human resources specialist, my 42 Alpha, and 12 November. I'm qualified in both of those. Anyway, 68 Whiskey combat medic, 91 Bravo wheeled vehicle mechanic, 92 Golf culinary specialist, and 94 Echo radio and communications security repairer. So translator is not on that. But good news is if you can read, write, and speak Arabic and you can test out for it, and you are an active duty full-time soldier, they can pay you extra however much that's worth on a monthly basis. For example, let's say it's rated at $100. As long as you can pass that test to read, write, speak fluently in that language for Arabic, then if the going rate is $100, every month while you're full-time, you'll make an extra $100 a month for being fluent in Arabic. But yeah, good luck to you. Quail Gang says, I'm prior service Air Force, currently just waiting on a re-entry code waiver to get approved in order for me to join the Army. I was told it takes 2 to 3 days, but I'm on day 40 and waiting. Is this normal? Unfortunately, it is. I'm not familiar with your unique circumstances to how and why you were discharged that resulted in that re-enlistment code and discharge information, but it can take a while. All right. If it exceeds 90 days, then I would be concerned. But on average, 30 to 45 days in the good end of the spectrum. On the bad end of the spectrum, 45 to 90. Worst case scenario, up to 180 days. So hopefully it works out in your favor. All right. Got your email about the Arizona Guard recruiter contact. Hey, JG, did they reach out to you at all? Did he reach out to you? Do you need his number? Because I could try to find it for you. JG, are you still here? Dímelo. Talk to me. Tracy Morrison says, saw your video with some Green Berets encouraging moral waiver guys. Can recruits with moral waivers get these contracts out of the gate in office? I'm not sure what you mean by in office, but you mean like in the enlistment process? Yeah, that's the whole point, is to get the waivers at the time that you're joining. Blake says, are you assigned to a unit before you go to basic training? If you're Guard and Reserve, yes. Active duty, you probably won't find out where you're going for your duty station until about halfway through your training. Unless you're getting I forgot which option it is, but if you're getting duty station of choice, then you might have a specific unit or a duty station. Aside from that, about halfway through your AIT portion of your training. Preston says, swore in today is a 31 Bravo in the North Carolina National Guard. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Congratulations. All right, good stuff. All right, so Vincent says, how long does it take to get state active duty approving coming out of basic? It could take up to 6 months. Because it pays, at least in New York, it pays so well that a lot of people are trying to get on it. So once they're on it, they usually don't come off it as quick, if that makes sense. But if you're in New York, this is my full-time National Guard Reserve opportunities link, and in the description is the DMNA, Department of Military and Naval Affairs New York link, where we post our full-time job opportunities between civilians, military technicians, state active duty, and various federal active duty options. All right. Good luck to you, and good luck in basic training. Enigma says, what's the difference between PICAT and the ASVAB in case I don't meet the ASVAB requirements for the contract that I need going for 4-6 year contract with 11X, meaning infantry with option 40 and or 18 X-ray? Both the PICAT and the ASVAB have nothing to do with the later part of your comment as far as like your contract length, or at least I'm not able to connect them. But the difference between PICAT and the ASVAB is the PICAT, there's no time limit other than you having to complete it within 48 hours. But you don't want to take 48 hours to do it because it's going to skew your results. So I'm going to post a video that will deep dive on this particular topic, but you're going to treat it like the ASVAB. So if you're going through me, I give you a set time frame to how and when you're going to complete each section, right? So you're going to designate 3 hours to complete the test, and each section you're going to have a specific amount of time. You're going to set a timer, and when the time is up, the video will explain it, but that's it. All right. And then you have 30 to 45 days to go back to MEPS to verify those scores. And when you take a shortened version, I think it's about 30 to 40 questions, about 30-40 minutes worth of a shortened version of the test. As long as your answers on the PICAT verification test are consistent with how you took the PICAT, then they will verify your scores, and whatever you earn on the PICAT, you will be awarded. However, if your answers are too far better or too far worse, and they're inconsistent with how you took the PICAT, it's going to look like something fishy is going on, and then you're going to get converted into the full version 3-hour ASVAB test. So PICAT, not proctored by a military person, and no time limit other than the 48-hour limit, versus a 3-hour limit, proctored, meaning overseen to prevent cheating from a military service member or DoD approved civilian. Those are the major differences. But yeah. And then if you need to study and know more about the ASVAB with free resources and all that good stuff and strategies, testing strategies, that video about the ASVAB is right there. Definitely go check that out. And the reasonable text, and I'm going to come back to you because I just got a super chat coming in hot and heavy from Daniel Kazaski. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Daniel says, I'm 37 years old and a massage therapist of 15 years. I am in pretty decent shape, but I don't know what MOS I want to do. Any suggestions for reserves? Yes. Any suggestion, tips, and know-how and things to consider going through the enlistment process and determining which MOS is best for you is going to be in this video called Which Army MOS is the Best MOS? The first step is to complete the ASVAB test so that you can research your MOSs through the Excel sheet that you will open up on an Google Sheets on preferably your computer. But watch that video. My tips, tricks, and know-how and things to consider are all in that video. So all the advice that I would give to you is in that video. And hopefully you will find the value in that video, and good luck to you on the ASVAB test. If you do need ASVAB materials to study and information and all good stuff, my ASVAB video again is right here. And good luck to you. Appreciate you. But for reserve, it's really not that big of a deal for a job because you're doing it part-time. All right, so back up to, oh no, I went too far up. Hang on, where was I? Oh, way too high up. There's JG, Blake, Preston, hang on, Tracy. And I'm getting closer. Oh, here we are. The reasonable Texan says, I will be shipping out to basic in September in preparation. Is there any benefits, discounts that I can set up prior to the ship date, like discounts, car insurance, etc.? For the most part, until you get your official orders, there's nothing that you can do to execute prior to shipping. So once you do get your Army CAC, Common Access Card, known as the Army ID card, if you can get that, that would help you get like maybe retail discounts, restaurant discounts. Other than like if you want to get like your insurance and stuff like that, that's gonna that's gonna have to be. No, it doesn't have to. Well, if you're active duty, you're gonna have to wait until after you ship because that's when you get your CAC and have military status. If you're in the Guard or Reserve, by having your CAC and you're in service, then yeah, you can call up your insurance company and talk about possible discounts for serving. I don't know of any insurance company that will give you a discount just for being a service member. I know Geico used to. I don't know if they're very military friendly anymore these days, but yeah. And I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. But yeah. Ty, bro, I'm sorry, I don't understand that calligraphy, so I don't know how to translate that. If you could put it in English, that'd be perfect. Appreciate you. Thank you. Much love. Anthony Machalisco says, I don't have a question. Just wanted to thank you for all the information you've given me the past 2 years. I finally got a ship date and will be a watercraft engineer on active duty. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Man, I love success stories like this. All that hard work paid off for you. So good luck in basic training. Keep your head down. Do what you're told. Do great things, and prove to the Army that you're a good candidate and will be proven to be a good asset to the organization. I'm excited for you, and I'm glad that you've been around for a couple of years. Appreciate you. Hopefully you stick around. Blake says the reason. Oh, it's not for me. I'm not sure what rule needs to be changed, but I'll probably support it. YF says, I'm a Latter-day Saint and was told by a Marine recruiter I could serve my 2-year church mission while serving in the Marine Reserve. Does the Army National Guard have the same thing? Huh. I call cap on that. For my USMC recruiters, can Marine reservist, what do you call it? Serve a 2-year church mission as a Latter-day Saint, right? And what? All right, so I'm going to ask my Marine Corps recruiters what their thoughts on this. So while I wait for them to respond, oh no, he's in the Army. He can't respond to that. That was pretty funny though. That's funny. Why is Army answering? I want a Marine Corps recruiter to respond. So I'll see what they say, but only Army recruiters are responding at the moment. I'm gonna say your Marine recruiter is straight up lying to you. There's no way that they're going to allow you to pause your reserve contract to knock out your church mission as a Latter-day Saint. Yeah, that's going to be a hard pass. You're going to have to do that and then join the service. YF, it's probably going to be a minute for the Marine Corps to actually respond to me because they're not usually on social like that. We Army people, we be on it every day. But with that being said, send me a comment on my Instagram. All right, there's the link for my Instagram, and we'll see what we can do. All right, but this is my personal opinion because I'm not a Marine Corps recruiter, but as a 20-year recruiting veteran to date, as a recruiter for the Army National Guard, I can assure you that that's not a thing in the Guard either. So if it's not a thing in the Guard, then because the most we could do in the ING is a year, 6 months to a year, I believe. 6 months for sure, maybe a year. So the National Guard might be your best bet, but I know from my understanding, Latter-day Saint church missions are 2 years, and you have to save enough money to go do it. So yeah, it's 2 years is definitely not going to be doable. So you might be SOL. Amy Lake says, is there a current bonus for active duty 11X or drone operator MOS? It's going to be dependent on all kinds of different factors like ASVAB score, contract length, duty station, MOS, possibly unit. But yeah, contact your active duty recruiter to find out what their bonus stuff is. Or if you direct message me, I can refer. Actually, you know what? YF. Contact Erica Burney. She's in California and she's an active duty recruiter. This is her YouTube channel. Post a comment right there. Or you can just look up Erica Burney on Instagram and you'll find her. Just shoot her a direct message, comment on her page that you sent her a DM, and she'll reach out to you. All right. Oh, wrong. I meant this person, Amy. All right, so if they do, always take Army over Marine Corps. And Atkins says, I mentioned 19 Charlie is the new MOS when you... Oh, gotcha. My bad, your fault. Fable says, what should one do if they don't hear Joe Sergeant's commands clearly? Do they usually explain beforehand what they will say? Would I just look around and see what others are doing? Because I feel like when they are yelling, I might not always hear each word clearly. Absolutely. So we will be screaming at the top of our lungs as a drill sergeant. And if you don't hear us, or you hear us, but you don't understand what we're saying, literally just do what everyone else is doing around you, because we're all going to be doing the same thing. And that's the easiest thing I can share with you. But they're supposed to enunciate everything so that you do understand. All right. Blake Magnum says it should be, I served a mission. I heard you can do that since I live in Utah. Blake Mangum, when you served mission, were you in the military at the time that you did your church mission? Let me know. I'm really curious about this. You guys piqued my curiosity on a particular topic I'm not 1000% confident in, so I appreciate that, keeping me on my toes. IJ says, hey Swartz, just turned 27 years old a few days ago, and I have always wanted to join the Guard as someone who meets all of the OCS prerequisites, but wouldn't mind enlisted. What would you do? As I always describe, you can watch this video. It goes a little bit more in detail, but the difference between, well, there's a difference if you're going active duty reserve versus Guard, but setting that aside, my recommendation is if you're trying to go OCS, go from the rip, right from the start. Go straight into OCS, right? Because the recruiting command is taking the risk to, for lack of a better word, sponsor you or recommend you for OCS. Whereas if you decide to go the enlisted route first to get some enlisted experience, which is a noble, honorable, humbling experience and a great way to have enough accurate empathy as an enlisted soldier, which would be a great way to eventually go OCS, because you'll understand your experience as an enlisted soldier. However, by going enlisted first and then trying to do your OCS packet later, you now have to be recommended by an officer, which is typically going to be your company commander. If your company commander doesn't think that you would be a good fit as an officer, or afraid that you would embarrass them by failing out or dropping out for whatever reason, or maybe you lack perceived confidence in your public speaking and just your overall interactions with your peers and superiors, that there's a few factors in there that could prevent you from going OCS while in service versus you going from the jump straight from the recruiting office to OCS. But definitely check out that video. And if you got any other further questions, let me know. Okay, gotcha. I see. Thank you for the clarification. Really do appreciate it. Praying for 19 kilo. I'll be praying for you as well. So good luck. And you're very welcome. Tricky Exodus says, I didn't do anything yet. I got 6 months to prepare. Outstanding. Good luck. Ian Klopper with the hand salute. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Matthew says, what is the minimum contract length for 18X contract in the guard, which is going to be 6 years? Do you have the sign up for 6 years? Yes. No, you cannot do 3 or 4 years. Worried that if I don't make SF, I get stuck in a crap MOS for 6 years. At least it's part-time, 1 week in a month. But 18X will be your primary MOS at the time of enlistment. So make sure that at the time of enlistment into the guard that your recruiter lists a second and third MOS of something that you're interested in reclassing to in the event that Special Forces doesn't work out in your favor. So as a guard recruiter, we put 3 MOSs in your DD form, Department of Defense form 1966. So in that paragraph, we literally list 3 MOSs that you're qualified for, and hopefully you have that dialogue with your recruiter and they list MOSs that you're actually interested in. So that's why it's very, very important that you give him your top 5 MOSs from precedence of most interested to least interested. So obviously 18X is going to be your top choice. And then the second and third options are two other MOSs that you're otherwise qualified for and also interested in the event that 18X-ray doesn't work out. And if you're just 100% in as an 18X and hope and pray that you make it and you don't care about any other MOS, really put some thought into other MOSs in the event that you get injured, drop out, kicked out of 18X-ray, and you're going to get an MOS that you're more inclined to do rather than something else, if that makes sense. Jeremy, I'm going to come back to you. Because I just got a super chat coming in from Bread. What was it called? Bread Chasing Cody. All right. Interesting name. Well, I appreciate the super chat and thank you very much for that. Been trying to join the Army for 3 months now, but stuck in the waiver process. It's been sent back 3 times now. Should I get a new recruiter? Without further context and information, I don't know what the potential hiccups are to give you any advice. I also don't know if it's a moral waiver or a medical waiver issue. If it is medical, my best advice, tips, and tricks would be in this medical waiver guide that I created. If it's not medical and it's moral, we would have to have some dialogue offline to be able to figure that out. But moral is very, very tricky. And when it comes to moral waivers, you have to, in your applicant statement, you have to own the offense. You can't say, in your opinion, or what had happened was, and then deviate from what the records say. So whether you agree with the arrest report, the disposition, and or the court minutes, whatever they said that you did, right, is what you have to say that you did. Whether you did it or not, you have to own it. Then you have to express remorse, meaning how sorry you are that it happened. And since the last offense through now, what have you been doing to contribute to society? Are you going, or have you gone to college? Have you earned a degree? Have you learned a license, a certificate? Even if it's for like basket weaving, right? It doesn't matter. Some sort of certificate, something, right? Have you done a lot of volunteer work, right? At a local soup kitchen, feeding the poor or the homeless, right? Do you do church missions? Do you volunteer in any other way, right? Have you got a promotion and now in a leadership position? Have you established a career? I'm not sure how old you are or anything like that, but they want to see some sort of rehabilitation and somewhere that you're showing growth and like, yes, I messed up here, but I'm on the right track to be better and to do better for the rest of my life, at least up until now. And now you're looking to join. If you don't do that in your applicant statement where you own it, you explain what happened. And since then, like, you know, obviously that you're sorry, showing remorse, you know, I messed up. I was young and dumb. I made really bad decisions. I was hanging out with the wrong crowd. And as a result of this last case, or the case in question, I decided, you know what? If I can't change my friends, I'm going to change my friends, right? I'm going to say that again, because there's a phrase, right? If you can't change the friends around you, then you need to change the friends around you, right? So that's exactly what you did. You're no longer associated with those types of people anymore. You're surrounding yourself with other like-minded individuals who are going places in their life and obtaining good quality, high quality character reference letters. What I would recommend, if you haven't done so already, is reach out to your local senator, congressman, someone at a high rank like that in your local government who will hear you out. It would be best, in my opinion, to go in a suit to their local office and introduce yourself. Nice firm grip, shake them 2 to 3 times naturally. Hey, sir, ma'am, let me shake your hand. I'm Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, and I'm looking to join the United States military. Back in the day, I did XYZ. I've since learned from my mistakes. I'm looking to join the military. It would mean a lot to me if you would give me a recommendation letter. This is what I've been doing with my time since that offense. I'm volunteering. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I've done this. I achieved that. And it would really mean the world to me if you would give me a recommendation letter. By doing this in person is going to be a lot better than you just calling up, because there's no face on the phone, right? So do it in person and get those types of character reference letters, and that will actually hold more weight than, say, your church pastor, someone that you work with or whatever. But I would also have character references from various aspects of your life, like a supervisor from your job, a coworker that you work with that will say some good things about you as well, and someone in your personal life, like a pastor. So it would be like the total applicant concept. Someone who was your employer, or a supervisor that oversaw you, to someone that you work with, and someone in your personal life, to include a senator and or a congressman. So together we'll paint a picture of your personal life, your work life, maybe someone in school like a professor, right? Or high school, depending on how old you are. People that can attest to your moral character, and that maybe you just had a mishap, a mess up at this one time or whatever, but you're otherwise a good human being, and you are going to be an asset to the organization if provided an opportunity to do so. And again, why you want to serve the military. Omitting the benefits. You don't want to say in your character reference letter that, or a character applicant statement rather, your applicant statement can't be like, oh, I want to join the military because I want to get my college education because the Army pays for my bills, and it's not whatever. No, that's not what they want to hear. They want to hear stuff like, hey, man, I really want the opportunity to serve my country because I'm extremely patriotic. When I hear the national anthem, the hair in the back of my neck stands up. Like, it really means a world to me if I could serve my country. I've been wanting to do this for years. This is what's holding me back. If you afford me the opportunity to serve, I swear to God, I will make you proud of me, and I will be an asset to your organization. I will be the best soldier that you can be. And, stuff like that. And if you didn't do that on your applicant statement, then you're doing yourself an injustice by not including all those things in your applicant statement. But good luck to you. And again, thank you for supporting the channel. Where was I? Oh, here we go. Jeremy, thoughts on people over 32 years old joining the Army National Guard or Reserve? I have my degree, but by the time I join, I'll probably be 33, 34 years old. I'm interested in enlisted. MOS is more than officer enlisted. All right, cool. Good stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with honest day's work. You know what I'm saying? But my opinions to joining at an older age is going to be in more detail in the video that's populating to the chat box now. Is from a 17 to say like a 22-year-old versus someone that's around 32 years old. In my opinion, you're going to, worst case scenario, you're going to mentally excel at basic training compared to someone who's 17 to 22 years old. The reason being is physically, a lot of people are going to struggle regardless of age. So that's why I'm referring to the mental aspect. So as a 32-year-old, I imagine that you're living on your own, or you've been working a job, having adult-like responsibilities, being under stress for adult-like responsibilities, right? So it's not going to be as challenging for you to adapt to being away from home for a while and dealing with different personalities and being fully immersed into an uncomfortable or out of your comfort zone. Whereas someone who's 17 to 22, pretty much probably, I'm assuming here that they're not going to be as well versed in high stress environment, working for people that are going to stress you out and living on their own, having adult-like responsibilities like rent, bills, and so on and so forth. So they're going to have a much more challenging time adjusting to higher levels of stress. So that's one way that you're going to excel. And you're probably going to be called grandpa in basic training because you're going to be older, and probably older than your drill sergeants in a lot of the cases. But trust me, you'll be fine. Age in the military, or at least in the Army, is nothing more than just a number. Unlike civilian corporations where age might be factored into, like, ew, you're 32, ew. It's not like that in the Army. Age is literally just a number. You make a name for yourself by your work ethic and your ability to get along with others and to get the job done. So you'll be all right. Trust me. You'll be good. IG700 says, hey, Sarn, it's Lewis here. This is a personal page, but I just recently made the choice to join the National Guard, and I go with the 11 Bravo route as an infantryman. I'm leaving in a month. Just recently started training, 1 mile, 10 to 11 minutes, 10 to 15 push-ups. Will I survive OSUT? I can do 10 to 15 on the go, maybe, and my plank is terrible, 223 seconds. All right, not bad. It's a good starting point, and you got a whole month before you leave. So check out this video, basic training prep. I primarily want you to focus on running, all right? If you can get your running down to 18 minutes or less for 2 miles, then you're in a good position to be at. And the video will explain why. And I also have a beginner program and intermediate and advanced programs down in the description area of that video as well. Anakin Skywalker says, so in a mini ceremony for 10 weeks or do until the end of 22 weeks. So for OSUT, you'll have what we call the turning green ceremony at the 10-week mark to signify that you've met the basic training graduation requirements. And you might not necessarily meet all of the basic training requirements, but they're signifying that you've completed 10 weeks of basic training. Because with OSUT, it's considered one station unit training. So you're completing your basic training and your job training all at the same time with the same drill sergeants under one location with the same platoon or a group of individuals. So, yeah, so turning green at 10 weeks, which is about 30-minute ceremony. And then usually a family day or two over the weekend, basically. And then at the end is your big turning blue ceremony, where as an infantryman, you're going to be earning your blue cord and blue discs for your uniform. And that's going to be the more memorable one. So for basic training and AIT, basic training graduation is the more memorable one. In OSUT, your final and last graduation ceremony is going to be the more memorable and meaningful graduation ceremony. Zachary Jones says, I have to do the ASVAB and PICAT. I just did the PICAT pretest and I got a 24 out of 40. I am currently studying for the PICAT, but I am truly excited to be a soldier, but I also still have a little anxiety. All perfectly normal, Zachary. Stay the course, be consistent, right? Study consistently every day for 60 minutes at least. All right. So if you want studying tips, testing strategies, and the know-how with free resources, go check out the video I just posted in the chat box now, titled the ASVAB Ultimate Study Guide, studying tips, testing strategy, metrics, and so much more. Definitely go check out that video. It's worth a watch. And Julio Juarez. Sorry, my Spanish isn't great. Why'd my question get skipped twice? Honestly, I didn't see your name until I just looked down now. Let's see. Julio. I'm not seeing no Julio. So Julio, just so you're tracking, I do have certain words or phrases blocked for various reasons, which means that it may not be populating on my end to see. And if that is the case, then I won't see it. So if you have a question that you want me to answer, you can direct message me on Instagram at TEAM SWARTZ. I'm all the way back to 7:34, and I'm not seeing any other messages with your name attached to it. So I'm not sure when you tuned in, but I'm pretty confident that you have not been here for more than 20 or 30 minutes, because most people pop in and out and only around for like 10 to 15 minutes. Unless you're a diehard Team SWARTZ squad member. Hashtag I'm just saying, the loyal Team SWARTZ squad members. So yeah, you're very welcome. So I'll put the link for my Instagram. So if you want to direct message me, or you can email me at Team SWARTZ Media as well. I'll be more than happy to answer your question, but I'm not ignoring you, just letting you know. All right, so Zachary says, oh yeah, we already talked about that. JG says, not yet, but I recently got a new phone, so getting it worked out. Shoot, I forgot what we were talking about. My bad, your fault, but you got it. All right, cool. Chisosa says, my question got skipped long ago. I haven't seen your name until just now, so we're in the same boat as the other guy. I didn't see your name at all. So if you're still here, Ichisosa, let me know that you're still here. Oh, it says here, it says, my question also got skipped once, but the second time I retyped it, it has disappeared. Gotcha. Yeah, so Ichisosa, you could, Ichisosa, something like that. You could also send me a direct message and I'll be more than happy to help you out. All right. I'm not skipping you. I'm just not seeing your messages. Silas says, hey, I'm currently going through the process to join the army. I am shooting for 35 Lima, but no, it's a long shot. What MOS would you recommend to go with? Easily transfer over 35 Lima later in my contract. As far as the army is concerned, it really doesn't matter about what your MOS was beforehand. As long as you otherwise qualify for the opportunity, they will reclass you at the end of your contract to that MOS, as long as you're otherwise eligible for it and there is an opening, meaning a vacancy for that position. And that is the counterintelligence special agent, which is responsible for detecting, identifying, assessing, counter exploiting, and neutralizing threats from foreign intelligence services. Gotcha. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to get into, but at the end of your current contract, so again, it's not going to be like there's no prerequisite. Now, if you can, well, let me ask you this. Why are you not able to get 35 Lima now? Are you not a U.S. citizen and you're just looking to get a citizenship and then apply for that later on? What's the reason why you can't get 35 Lima? And are you going active or guard or reserve? Let me know. And if you're still here, of course. I doubt it because we're at like 8:12 and it's now 8:49. All right, so JG says, funny because the day I saw the email, a career counselor that supposedly works with him and told me to get an SF-180 24 Alpha to get my RE code and full paperwork so I can get... Oh, gotcha. All right. Silas also says, I'm also probably going to need to get a medical waiver for migraines. Have not had one in 4 months, and I'm taking steps to never have one again. What is your experience? Ooh. Migraines could be a permanently disqualification for real. You admitted that like personally, or is it actually diagnosed from a doctor? You're going active. I am yet to try to get 35 Lima, but no, it's a long shot. As long as you're financially stable, just be and remain in communications with your recruiter and just be like straight up, like, because you're going full-time regular army, as long as you qualify for the opportunity, be like, listen, call me when there's a 35 Lima slot and I will be there tomorrow. Like, no ifs and or buts. I don't care if I'm on vacation. I will fly back and be back by the next day. Like, that's how serious I am. You give me 35 Lima, I'll be in there like swimwear and I'll be there tomorrow, or whatever the case may be. But when you're going active, I genuinely want you to be in something that you want. So as long as you're financially stable and you can wait it out, your testing and medical results are good for 2 years from the date it was completed. So if you got time, my recommendation would be, because you are going active, I would wait it out. Guard or reserve, it really doesn't matter because it's part-time. Will France says, can you do active duty on National Guard? Yes. As I describe here in this video called the full-time National Guard Reserve Opportunities. Check out that video for more information. Tracy says, yes, in the office as an enlistment process regarding the waiver. If the moral waiver is approved, I am told up to option 4 or option 40. 18X still require another step. That would be more for a special forces recruiter themselves or an active duty recruiter that knows more about option 4 and option 40. But if you check out this video here, you don't have to actually watch the video, but in a pinned comment or in the description area towards the top is the point of contact for Sergeant First Class Klaus, the Special Forces recruiter for the Colorado Army National Guard Special Forces, and he knows everything you need to know about Special Forces and be able to address those questions specifically. So good luck to you, Tracy. Hans Year says, enlisted into the New Jersey Army National Guard this week. My basic training is in July. Any tips for somebody interested and recognized as a soldier leader or soldier of the cycle? Volunteer for student leadership. Be really, really good at it. When you are a student leader, just remember that you are a peer. So when expressing your responsibilities and directions that the drill sergeants are going through your voice, that you're saying it with respect and making them aware that whatever it is that you're asking or telling them to do for the next day or whatever the case may be, and you have to understand that, and this is for anybody who's about to go to basic training, anytime a student leadership is telling you to do something, you have to remember that whatever the student leader is telling you to do, it's coming from the drill sergeant. So you should hear your drill sergeant's voice coming through your student leader's voice when they're telling you to knock something out. So when a follower, be a good follower. When you are a leader, be a good leader. And again, because you are a student leader, as a student, when you are the student leader, just be respectful to your peers because you are a peer. Just because your voice is echoing the drill sergeant's commands, that doesn't give you the right to be an asshole to your peers and act like you're better than everyone else. So tread softly, take it seriously, have fun, and yeah, hopefully you get it. So if you're good at it, you'll get awarded for it. All right, so this person says, hi brother, I did a 2 test, but I don't pass. I want a course is bad practice test. Not exactly sure what you're asking me, but if you want to know more about the ASVAB test, check out this video. And if you want to direct message me on Instagram so we could have a little more dialogue so I can understand your question better and get you the information that you need to help you get through whatever test or course that you're trying to do, I'd be more than happy to help you out offline. Tara Para says, is YASVAB 3 hours long? If so, I'm allowed to have a Red Bull or coffee while taking it. That would be a hard pass. Hard no. You're very welcome, brother. Hansier Rodriguez says, 09 Sierra as an OCS candidate, and I'm interested in learning more about what pre-OCS looks like and what to expect after basic training. Any insight? Pre-OCS? No, I don't have anything on that. What to expect at Army basic training? You can watch this video right here, but ignore the COVID references. Now, what I would recommend, if you're Hansier Rodriguez, let me know if you're still here. Because if you are, I want you to look up Matt Ward Land Navigation. You can look at that video on YouTube from Matt Ward, his land navigation tutorial video, and by far, hands down, the best land navigation video out there that will help you learn the basics of land navigation, because the two things that you have to be good at to excel at OCS or make it less stressful is be confident on doing well on the Army Combat Fitness Test and being good at land navigation. There are plenty of videos on YouTube about OCS with op orders and all that good stuff. So just look up those types of things and you should be fine. Have you ever taken advantage of Space A? No, me personally, I have not, but plenty of my friends have. Unfortunately, I have not experienced it yet, but when I retire next October, I will tell you all about it. Andrew says, I'm about to leave 28th and still waiting for my real ID. Is that going to be or delay my shipment if I don't have my real ID, only have my green card? So is your green card valid and not expired? If your green card is not projected to be expired, then you'll be fine. What I would recommend is for you to bring your passport with you as well. But on the 28th of this month, shoot, that's a couple weeks away. I'm not sure what state you're in, but I would definitely valid. All right, yeah, so you're fine because you could ship out with your green card and you're gonna be a U.S. citizen by the time you're done. And then when your real ID comes in the mail, your family can mail you out that real ID card to the training site so that you have it. And you'll be fine. So you'll be able to ship out with your green card. So green card, US passport, foreign passport, real ID, or enhanced driver's license, or enhanced ID, or enhanced learner's permit are all valid forms of ID to fly. All right, so you'll be fine with your green card. This person says, have you ever told a recruit that they'd be a Hellcat or hype them up similar to that? No. I have not hyped anyone up. Bread Chasing Cody says, hey, I've been trying to join the Army for 3 or 4 months, maybe stuck in the waiver process. You already talked about that. Silas says, what is your opinion on waiting months and months for your dream job in the delayed entry program or taking a different job that you don't think will like faster ship date? Like I said, if you're financially stable, my recommendation has not changed. If you can wait it out, wait it out. But my advice to MOSs are going to be located in this video if you want to check that out. This person says, can you take paternity leave after basic training before AIT? No. You could always request it, but I would assume that they're going to say no. Once you graduate from AIT, then you can take your paternity leave. And it's 3 months for males, and it's 3 to 6 months for females. I can't remember. I think it's 6 months for females. But males were increased from 21 days to 3 months or 90 days. But after AIT, you can definitely take your paternity leave. Blake says, I have a National Guard packet I'm looking at now, and it says that the Guard will release you into the ING for up to 3 years to complete a religious mission. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is that on the, what do they call that? The National Guard addendum, or no? What is it called? I have it upstairs. I haven't read it yet, but I emailed a blank contract to my most recent recruit for him to read because he wanted to read it. So it says that you can do up to 3 years. I thought it was restricted to 6 to 12 months. That's good to know. That is amazing. So I guess you could do it in the Guard. Look at that. Hell yeah. I'm going to take a photo of that. Maybe I should do a video about it. On the Did You Know portrait photo. All right, cool. Thanks for sharing that. Hopefully that person saw that. Kevin says, thank you for all who are served. Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. This person says, how's it going? Just wondering, how long does it take for a medical waiver to get through the recruiters? Well, with all waivers, right, the intent is to be less than 30 days. So medical waivers, depending on the severity of the medical waiver, it could be a couple of days to a couple of weeks. Worst case scenario, not worst case scenario, but the average is like 2 weeks to 45 days. Not so common, 90 days. Worst case scenario, excuse me, that came out of nowhere. Worst case scenario, 180 days, but under 90 days for sure. Chai Guy says, doing table 6 certs at the Gap in August. 13 Bravo Field Artillery. Oh, doing table 6 at Fort Indiantown Gap, I think is what you're saying, in Pennsylvania. August 13 Bravo Field Artillery. Hell yeah. Have fun. Hey, Christ Lives 953. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Appreciate it. And unfortunately, she did not beat cancer. Just so you're tracking, my mother passed away September 3rd last year due to brain cancer. But I do appreciate the prayers. Thank you. Thoughts on Space Force? Have none. Don't know anything about them. But that's cool. This person also says, wanted to ask that my neurologist said that I could get off my medication in a year if I remain seizure free for another year, and after another test, that would be my chance to join the Army. So you're going to have to be off of medication for epilepsy and be seizure free and all signs and symptoms free and stable without being on medication for a minimum of 5 years before they'll entertain a medical waiver for epilepsy or seizures. Sorry about that. Tricky says, is there any AFQT tests that are free that I can do to see what my practical score is before taking with the recruiter? Not that the recruiter can give me one and tell me. I have a couple that you can take. They're probably the same test. Don't even know it, but you got DDR PT and then this other one from the Iowa National Guard. But if you're looking to invest into a online course for $40 a month, you get 20% off. If you're interested, let me know in the chat box. But through Mometrics, they have all kinds of practice tests that you could take, and they tell you whatever you get wrong, how to get to the correct answer. But yeah, check out my video here for free resources, including some YouTube videos and YouTube channels that specialize on the ASVAB test to further your studying for the ASVAB. You asked about AIT pass. So you may or may not get on post or off post passes in AIT. So if you're in a longer AIT, you'll eventually might get off post pass, but it really depends on if the people before you effed it up before you got there. But at minimum, you'll get eventually on post passes where you can go anywhere you want on post with your battle buddy, of course. But yeah, it really depends on how responsible you guys are and mature you guys are in the training site and whether or not they're going to afford you on or off post passes. Just got off my GI to approve my gallbladder polyp, just waiting for medical waiver to go through. How long would that normally take? Also going in for 15 Sierra or 15 series rather. Don't know which one is open till the waiver gets through. All right, so I would say hang on, to remove the polyp, is that going to be a laparoscopic surgery to remove the polyp from the gallbladder? My understanding is, because I recently had my gallbladder removed about 3 months ago, and my understanding is the way that the gallbladder is not something that you could, like a liver, you can't just cut into it and pull things out of it. So is the polyp on the outside of the gallbladder or is it internal? Let me know. I don't know if you're still here, but yeah, we'll figure it out. But at minimum, you would have to wait 6 months from date of surgery. No need to remove it, is only 4 millimeters. No need for surgery. So I want you, fun fact, I want you to actually Google the size of the gallbladder, and you can tell how big 4 millimeters is comparatively to your gallbladder. So I had a Well, they said I had one gallstone that was 5 millimeters. But by the time they removed it due to my emergency gallbladder removal surgery, the largest gallstone I had was 12 millimeters, and I had multiple gallstones. And from my understanding, the gallbladder is literally like the size of my thumb tip right here. So it's very, very small. So you might have to get it surgically removed. The problem is here in America is until it physically bothers you, they won't remove it. So mine got to the point where it was super duper swollen, highly agitated, gangrene set in. Luckily, it didn't spread to other organs, but it almost burst. And if it does burst, it's a life or death situation. And more times than not, it leads to death. So be careful with that gallbladder. You won't be able to join with it as is, so you're probably gonna have to remove it to get into the military. Just letting you know. Chai Guy says, do you know what duty stations I'd go to for 13 Bravo if I'm... No, unfortunately, I do not. Maybe your active duty recruiter would be more privy to that information. Flint says, entering Texas Army National Guard as infantry airborne contract. Can I get BH for all eyes going for 25? So if you're married and you have, so if you're married and or a single parent, meaning you have dependents, then you'll get housing allowance. And it's in your best interest that you have a lease or a mortgage. So anytime you're in the Guard or Reserve and you have dependents and or a lease or a mortgage, then you will get housing allowance either at the single rate or at the dependent rate, with the dependent rate being at a higher amount that you'll receive on a monthly basis. All right. So check out this video, the National Guard pay video, but make sure that you look at that link. In the description area is a link of a National Guard calculator. Make sure you use that for the updated amounts that you'll get paid, because since the recording of the video, between the new year pay increase and the more recent 15% increase, E4 and below have gotten a total of a 20% pay increase since the recording of that video. So definitely check that out. Does high ASVAB score equal easier time getting a medical waiver? Not really. They sometimes, like, that's a rumor, but it really doesn't. And that's straight from the waiver authority themselves. Is the ASVAB taken at MEPS? Yes. Yes. How difficult is it to get into AGR? It can be pretty challenging depending on what state you're in and which AGR position you're going into. Prior service, thing about getting back in and going National Guard. So my video I want you to watch is here. And you don't have to be qualified in the MOS to apply for it. You will board or interview for it. Do your research, figure out what regulations relate to that job position and title. Like, do your research. And that's what they're looking for when they're interviewing you. And as long as you're otherwise eligible for that opportunity, they will send you to school or schools for that opportunity, whatever that AGR position is. So find out, like, if it's a supply NCO, what regulations do they deal with? Like, talk to people that are active duty or that do that on a full-time basis. Find out what regulations they use, their day-to-day life, certain systems that they use. Like, what they're looking for is knowing that you went out of your way to learn as much as you could about the position that you're applying for. And that shows that you're genuinely interested and a go-getter and more serious about the position versus just signing up for it and be like, yeah, man, I just want a job. You know? So that would be my 2 cents on that. Andrew says, my recruiter told me I can't get into the plane if I don't have my real ID. Your recruiter's retarded. All right? I'm sorry. I'm bringing back the word retarded. All right? Your recruiter's retarded. Your green card, they clearly don't know how to read the updates that come out. All right? Oh my God. Trust me. If you have a valid green card, you're good to go. Yes, you will be a U.S. citizen by the time you graduate from basic training. But I guarantee you, within the next couple of weeks, or if not sooner, let's say it does take 3 or 4 weeks to get it, you're going to get your real ID in the mail, and your family can mail it out next day, overnight, whatever, to the training site once they get your mailing address, and you will get it at basic training, and you will have it in time to fly out to the next duty station. And here's the coolest thing. When you're at basic, so here's the thing, right? You can ship out with your green card because it's considered a valid real ID, all right? It doesn't say real ID because a U.S. passport, green card, a foreign passport, and your Army CAC, Common Access Card, your Army ID card, all right? You can all use to fly wherever you want in the country, all right? As long as it's within the United States. So when you're flying from basic training to AIT, if for some reason your real ID hasn't come in mail yet, you can fly from basic training to AIT and use your Common Access Card, your Army ID, to fly. So your recruiter's retarded. You can ship out with your green card. Your family's going to mail you the real ID. I would certify mail it, right? But just mail it out to you. I would test out a letter first to make sure that you got the other letter, then send the ID. But yeah. Trust me, you'll be fine. And if you want, you can send your recruiter to me, my contact information down below, and I will educate your recruiter on the current guidance to real IDs. That doesn't take an effect until May 7th, and you will be in basic training before then. So I don't know what your recruiter's talking about. Hashtag I'm just saying. My recruiter is kind of quiet, so it's hard to get answers out of him. Well, consider me your virtual recruiter, and I got the answers that you're looking for. And if I don't have the answers, I can get you the answers. Matthew says, so I can list 2 other MOS's contract. How much an 18 contract? Yes, that's what I said. If it makes past 11 Bravo OSUT and Airborne, but don't make it through SFS for whatever reason, if I have to go 13 Bravo OSUT, is that a second MOS? They may keep you as 11 Bravo if you're doing it 11 Bravo. But yeah, if you put 13 Bravo as an MOS, if you're already qualified as 11 Bravo, they might just stick you back to 11 Bravo. But they should be honoring the second and third choice on your 1966. Grave Warden says, how difficult is it to get... Oh, yeah, we already talked about that. Big Pen says, how long after AIT before you are eligible for the VA home loan? Is it smarter to use it after the military since active duty travels a lot? So that's going to be personal preference, but it's 90 consecutive days other than your initial entry training. So the moment you graduate AIT or OSUT, 90 consecutive days later, you'll be qualified for the VA home loan as an active duty regular Army soldier or any active duty branch. If you're in the Guard or Reserve, you have to serve 6 years part-time unless you, in some form or capacity, can complete 90 consecutive days of qualifying federal active duty service other than your initial training. Your initial training is basic training, your advanced individual training, or your OSA, your one station unit training to get MOS qualified. None of that counts towards those 90 consecutive days, to include any other specialty schools like Airborne and whatnot. That'll all be part of your initial training. All right. Quit favoriting your other chat. I'm not sure what that means. What's that mean? Are you saying that I'm favoriting another chat? Sorry, I'm not following. If you could let me know. I'm curious. Is OSA only available for infantry unit? No, any combat MOS. To mention a few: 31 Bravo, 11 Bravo, 18X, 19 series, 13 series are all going to be OSUTs. If I don't meet ASVAB requirements for my MOS, how long do I have to wait to retake the ASVAB test? I heard 6 months after a couple of tries. Watch this video for the whole thing, because I break down. So it's 30 days after the first test, 30 days after the second test, 6 months after the third test, 12 months after the fourth test, but resets on the two-year anniversary from the day you took your initial test. reason why I was asking is because MEPS wanted what GI wanted to do, and he said it was fine and fit for duty. He sent a letter to MEPS, just waiting. Well, unfortunately, your civilian doctor doesn't dictate what the military views as quote unquote fine or fit for duty. That helps the narrative, but MEPS chief medical officer will let you know if you're permanently disqualified, no waiver authorized, or permanently disqualified, recommends a medical waiver, and then your branch of service can submit the waiver. If approved, then you can join. If denied, wait longer until it resolves itself or surgically removed, and then reapply 6 months later after the surgery. Typically, yes, but if you're in a combat MOS like infantry or field artillery, it'll be a lot easier to get those types of things, or combat engineers. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Do you know anything about top secret clearance? Yes, it's a top secret clearance. You're scrutinized a hell of a lot more than a regular secret clearance. Yes, your recruiter is making a good proactive choice. Your credit card company, I'm not sure what the circumstances are, but if you want to direct message me offline on Instagram at TEAM SWARTZ, I'll post a link. You can let me know privately more context your situation, and I'll give you my 2 cents. All right, so Eddie Cortez, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And this person says that I came to your office a couple of times and changed my mind, and now I'm going active and graduating AIT as an 88 Mike next week. Eddie Cortez, man, that name sounds familiar. That name does sound familiar. But I'm proud of you, man. You're graduating from 88 Mike school soon. That's what's up. I'm super stoked for you. That is freaking awesome. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. Thank you for supporting the channel, by the way. So this person says, if I was prior 11 Bravo Airborne in the 82nd and I want to go back in the National Guard, do I have to go to Airborne unit, or can I? No, you go right into a regular infantry unit. And no, you don't have to jump anymore. Most states don't have airborne. So unless you're in an airborne specific state, just avoid the airborne unit and go straight into a regular infantry unit and you'll be fine. I want to say more about, but my recruiter got me a little shook about OPSEC. Yes. That's why I told you to direct message me and we'll talk offline, because it's private stuff. Absolutely. Connor Allen says, my moral waiver is up to USAREC right now. It's 8 months into the process. I tried joining in 2023 and got delayed 18 months. Ouch, that sucks. Well, good luck. May the waiver gods forever be in your favor. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Thank you so much. And if you got any additional questions, you can either direct message me on Instagram at Team SWARTZ, or the link coming into the chat box now, or you can directly comment beneath the video in the normal comment section and not here in the chat box. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, see you next week. Team SWARTZ.